Hey, what's up everybody? It's Cory with Remax Signature Properties. Welcome to this week's episode of the Meals Minute. This week I'm going to be talking to you about buying and rehabbing properties as an investor, and also if you're a homeowner, updates and improvements that you can make to get your property ready to go on the market. I'm going to talk to you about the most important updates that buyers are looking for, the most exciting updates that buyers are looking for, which those two aren't the same thing in my opinion, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can maximize your return on investment and not over improve a property. So to get started, we'll talk about the most important updates that buyers are looking for, and that's going to pertain to the structure of the house, the infrastructure, and the major mechanical items. What I mean by structure is I'm talking about the foundation, the roof, the windows, the structural integrity of the home, and making sure that it functions as it's intended and there aren't any items that need to be addressed there. When I talk about the infrastructure of the house, I'm talking about the electrical, the plumbing systems, making sure that all of that is up to code, it's up to date, and there's not any issues. And when I talk about the mechanical components of the house, I'm talking about the HVAC system, the water heater, major appliances in the house, and making sure that none of those are on their last leg. The last thing that buyers want to do is put an offer on a house and 2 months after they close on it have to replace an HVAC system that a home warranty company may or may not replace, because honestly, who knows if they're ever actually going to replace those items. So if you've got a 25-year-old HVAC system and a 13-year-old water heater and your foundation may be a little questionable, you can't just throw a coat of paint on the house and say it's a rehab and expect people to pay top dollar for it, because experienced agents who are working with buyers, or maybe just experienced buyers, are going to be able to spot those items and say, you know what, I'm not going to buy this house because this is an item of concern and I don't feel like the home is truly worth what they're asking for it. Now when we talk about the most exciting updates that sellers make, this pertains to floor plans, finish outs, and different colors and countertops. One of the most famous, or I'd say most cliche lines that you hear on shows like Fixer Upper and Flip or Flop is, we're going to blow out this wall, open concept, granite countertops, and that stuff's all exciting, and buyers really do love the look and feel of those homes that are modern and updated. But I almost feel like you can't have that unless you do take care of those major updates that I talked about. Now, I'm not saying every home needs those. I'm just saying that if you want to maximize what a buyer will pay for a home, those are things that may need to be addressed in your current home. Now, one thing you have to be careful of if you are an investor or if you're a homeowner is not to over improve your house. And I wish I could tell you, dollar for dollar exactly what each improvement is going to make, but the fact is, each home, each market, and each neighborhood is so different that you really have to have a one-on-one consultation with an experienced local realtor who understands the market, which, I work here in this North Texas area. If you have any questions about that, you can always reach out to me. But you want to make sure that you want to do an analysis on the current market value and the after repair market value of what your home could sell for. One thing that sellers don't take into consideration is that no matter how much improvement you do on a house, how much money you put into it, a neighborhood is going to have a ceiling on what a property can sell for. And if homes are only selling for $350,000 and that's the max, I don't care if you put $500,000 into the house, you're going to have trouble selling it for more than $350,000, and that's just the nature of real estate and markets. So that's something to keep in mind. You definitely want to consult with an expert on that. Another thing that you really have to watch out for that maybe first-time investors or somebody who hadn't sold a home before has to think about is what kind of closing costs are involved with a real estate transaction. Just because you have a sales price of $350,000 doesn't mean at closing you're walking away with a $350,000 check. There's things to consider. So there's a lot of moving parts. It's kind of deceptive, the things you see on TV. There's a lot of behind the scenes action and planning and steps that takes place that can be a little bit misleading in my opinion. You hear people talk about, well, our budget's $20,000, but we're going to have to do this, so we're going to bump our budget up to $30,000. and we're just going to ask more for the house. Well, in reality, you can't just because you make another $10,000 improvement doesn't mean you can necessarily ask another $10,000 for the home. So there's a lot of factors that you have to consider, and it's always best to consult an experienced realtor that understands your market. So if you have any questions about what your home is currently worth or what it could sell for fixed up and what some of the smart improvements would be before you put it on the market, feel free to reach out to me. There's a link in my blog post that you can click on to give me a little bit of information about your property, or feel free to email me, Cory@CoryMills.com, and I'd be happy to come out, take a look at your place, and give you a detailed analysis on what it's worth. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Mills Minute, and we'll be back next week with another exciting episode. Until then, y'all have a great afternoon.